The story of Mark Zuckerberg, alongside insights from innovators like Larry Page, is not merely about companies, platforms, or technology. It is about a much larger transformation, the gradual construction of a world where human potential is increasingly extended, amplified, and reshaped by intelligent systems. This transformation is not happening in a straight line. It is unfolding across multiple dimensions at once: social, cognitive, economic, and even philosophical. At its deepest level, the question is no longer, what can technology do, but rather, what should humanity become with technology as an extension of itself? The origin of innovation: curiosity over certainty. One of the most consistent patterns across groundbreaking innovators is that they did not begin with clear answers. They began with curiosity. When Larry Page and his collaborators started working on search, they were not building a global company. They were exploring a research problem: how information on the web could be organized more meaningfully. They experimented, failed repeatedly, and iterated without knowing whether their work would ever become impactful. The key insight here is powerful. Breakthrough innovation often begins as uncertain exploration, not strategic planning. Similarly, Zuckerberg's early projects were not driven by corporate ambition, but by fascination with how people interact. The outcome, massive global platforms, was not planned in advance. It emerged as a consequence of solving meaningful problems. The responsibility of scale. As ideas grow into systems used by billions, they undergo a fundamental shift from innovation to responsibility. Large-scale platforms are no longer judged only by what they build, but by their societal impact, their ethical decisions, their contribution to global challenges. This shift is something even early leaders of major tech companies recognized. As organizations grow, expectations expand. What are you doing with your resources to make the world better? This question reflects a broader truth: power amplifies accountability. Technology as a force multiplier. Modern technology does not simply create new capabilities, it multiplies existing ones. This applies to communication, amplified through social platforms; intelligence, amplified through AI; creativity, amplified through generative tools; influence, amplified through networks. But amplification is neutral. It enhances both positive and negative outcomes. This duality creates one of the central tensions of the modern era. Tools that empower individuals can also enable manipulation. Systems that connect people can also divide them. The three converging revolutions. Today's technological landscape is shaped by the convergence of three major forces: social networks, scaling human interaction; artificial intelligence, scaling human thinking; and immersive computing, scaling human presence. Together, they form a new kind of infrastructure, not just for information, but for experience itself. The expansion of human capability. Historically, tools extended physical ability: wheels for movement, machines for strength. Now, technology extends cognitive and social abilities: AI for thinking and decision-making, platforms for communication and influence. This leads to a new kind of augmentation. Humans are no longer limited by what they can do alone, but how effectively they can collaborate with intelligent systems. AI as a cognitive partner. Artificial intelligence is evolving beyond automation into something more nuanced: a collaborator. It can suggest ideas, refine communication, generate content, and solve problems. But its most transformative role lies in reducing friction: friction in learning, friction in expression, friction in creation. For example, a person struggling to write can express ideas clearly. A beginner can access expert-level assistance. A business can operate at a scale previously impossible. This democratization of capability is unprecedented. The rise of personalized intelligence. A major shift in AI philosophy is emerging. Instead of one centralized system, there may be personal AIs tailored to individuals, business-specific AIs, creator-driven AI personalities. This reflects a deeper understanding of human behavior. People do not want one universal system, they want systems that reflect their identity, needs, and context. This decentralization aligns with a broader movement toward openness and accessibility. Open innovation versus closed systems. The debate between open and closed systems is not just technical, it is philosophical. Open systems encourage collaboration, accelerate discovery, and distribute power. Closed systems offer control, ensure consistency, and reduce certain risks. Zuckerberg's approach leans toward openness, based on the belief that innovation thrives when more people can participate. However, openness introduces new challenges: misuse of powerful tools, difficulty in enforcing safeguards. The balance between freedom and control remains unresolved. The human challenge: expression and understanding. Despite technological progress, one fundamental problem persists. Humans struggle to fully express and understand each other. Language is imperfect, emotions are complex, miscommunication is common. AI introduces the possibility of translating thoughts more clearly, adapting tone and context, bridging communication gaps. This could fundamentally reshape relationships, making interactions more effective but also raising questions about authenticity. The role of failure in progress. A recurring theme across all innovators is the acceptance of failure. From research experiments to physical training, the principle remains consistent. Mastery requires discomfort, repetition, and humility. Avoiding failure limits growth. Embracing it accelerates learning. This mindset applies not only to individuals but also to organizations. Rapid experimentation, iterative development, continuous adaptation. The paradox of modern connection. Despite unprecedented connectivity, many people experience loneliness, reduced close relationships, social fragmentation. This paradox highlights a critical insight. Connection tools do not automatically create meaningful relationships, they create opportunities for them. The quality of connection still depends on human behavior. The emerging hybrid reality. The future is likely to merge three layers: physical reality, digital augmentation, and intelligent assistance. This creates a hybrid existence where digital and physical worlds overlap, AI becomes a constant presence, and interaction becomes more immersive. In this environment, distance becomes less relevant, information becomes contextual, and communication becomes more natural. Risks and ethical complexity. As systems grow more powerful, risks increase. Misinformation at scale, AI-driven manipulation, loss of privacy, blurred lines between real and artificial. Even defining problems becomes difficult. What is truth? What is harm? What should be controlled? These are not purely technical questions, they are societal ones. The long-term perspective. One of the most important ideas is thinking in long time frames. Many of the most impactful projects take 10 to 15 years or more, begin with uncertainty, face skepticism early on. This long-term mindset allows for deeper innovation, greater resilience, and more meaningful outcomes. Final insight: the direction of humanity. If we step back, a larger pattern becomes visible. Technology is not just evolving, it is co-evolving with humanity. Each advancement changes how we think, how we communicate, how we relate to each other. And ultimately, the future will not be defined by technology alone, but how humans choose to integrate it into their lives. Closing thought. Across all these ideas, from early research experiments to global AI systems, one principle remains constant. The most powerful innovations begin with curiosity, grow through persistence, and are ultimately judged by their impact on human life.